When we began looking at the MDR-TB problem in Karachi and Hyderabad in 2007, one of the things that really struck us was that at several of the very large hospitals, there were very long waiting lists of patients that were diagnosed with MDR-TB but had no drugs because the drugs are very expensive.
The entire course costs $4,000 and that's approximately 10,000 rupees a month.
We took on the challenge of developing a flagship program based on the Peruvian national program. In Peru, they treated over 15,000 patients with MDR-TB. And it was based on that effort that the WHO approved this as Pakistan's first program where you could start treating MDR-TB based on international guidelines. One of the key issues that struck me is what these TB hospitals tend to do is they aggregate, they bring together a lot of patients into congested visiting rooms where patients are all sort of mixed and matched, and you essentially are incubating and transmitting between very seriously ill patients different strains of MDR-TB. And it is really necessary for us as a country to figure out how we are going to address the problem of poor facility design.
Well, I fully agree with that these centers are not basically designed or built in to treat only TB patients. We don't have that sort of a luxury here in Pakistan.
We have now instituted a whole program which includes architects, infection control experts to build the first purpose-designed facility in Pakistan for airborne infection control, and that's where our MDR-TB patients are going to be seen early next year as soon as that facility is finished.
This is 1 week's worth of medication. As you can see, the little green pills that look like M&Ms. They're not really M&Ms, they're an antibiotic. And they have to take 8 of these in the morning and 8 of them at night. So that's totaling 96 pills in a week. So those are these ones right here. These are also, this is cycloserine, another antibiotic, so is that. We actually add them up. I think they'll be close to a few hundreds that they have to take a week. So that's a lot of antibiotics for a period of 2 years, 6 days a week. So, I mean, I can't imagine and you can't imagine doing this, and you have to talk to someone who's actually taking this to see what they have to go through.
Drug-resistant TB is really caused because people have stopped taking their medicine.
Yep, that's exactly right. So there's regular drug-susceptible TB, and you don't have to take this many pills. It's first-line drugs.
The problem with multi-drug resistant TB is that the cost of the drugs is so high that often those drugs are not stocked in the pharmacy of that particular clinic or hospital.
नाज़मीन, आप अपनी कहानी थोड़ी सी बताना चाहेंगे लोगों को? आपको कब से टीबी है?
3-4 साल से ज़्यादा अरसा गुजर गया। कुछ अरसा मैंने इलाज करवाया है, फिर मैंने छोड़ दिया था बीच में।
क्यों छोड़ा?
बस कुछ थोड़ा सेहतमंद हो गया था, फिर मैंने सोचा कि यार मैं अभी ठीक हो गया हूँ।
अच्छा, ये अक्सर होता है, जिन लोगों को टीबी होती है वो कुछ महीने दवा लेते हैं, फिर वो थोड़ा सा बेहतर महसूस करने लगते हैं तो वो सोचते हैं कि अब हम दवाइयाँ छोड़ देते हैं, अब हम सेहतमंद हो गए हैं। लेकिन ये बहुत बड़ी गलती होती है, क्योंकि टीबी की दवाइयाँ जो पूरी तरीके से ना लें तो तभी जाके ये सख्त वाली मतलब MDR टीबी होती है।
बस कभी कभी परेशानी भी होती है इंसान को, यार इतना अरसा हो गया है, मैं बीमार हूँ, दवाइयाँ खा रहा हूँ, अल्लाह करेगा एक दिन होगा ठीक भी हो जाऊँगा।
अच्छा, मुझे बताएं कि टीबी होने से सबसे ज़्यादा असर क्या हुआ है आपकी ज़िंदगी पे टीबी से?
मेरा ये कान बंद हुआ है, अभी सुनाई आ रही है मगर इस कान से थोड़ी कम आती है।
We have patients who suffer permanent loss of hearing, which is extremely unfortunate. We've seen that in a little less than 10% of our patients. It's irreversible. It happens because of one of the antibiotics, and there's not much we can do about it because that is necessary.
So I think if doctors could prescribe anything else which wouldn't have these adverse effects, they'd happily do it. But these are the only drugs available out there to manage this disease.
This treatment, I would say it's just really hard. And these patients are doing it, and we can't let them be. They're sick, and if they take half the treatment and leave, then they might develop XDR TB, which is even further resistant to drugs. So that's like extensively drug-resistant TB. What we try to do is make an environment which is enabling the patient to continue with their entire treatment regimen. So one of the aspects of that is providing them with monthly food rations. The first benefit is that it serves as an incentive for the patient because they only receive their monthly food ration when they come in for their monthly follow-up. That way they don't miss appointments. The other thing is that a lot of them are the breadwinners of the family. So because of the symptoms of the disease, because of the side effects of the drugs, they're unable to work. And because of that, it's causing problems at home. So we help out with the food rations. It's rations for a month for a family of 5.
So the Indus Hospital, of course, has treatment supporters that go out to a patient's home 2 times a day to observe the patient taking treatment for those that have multi-resistant TB. This doesn't happen in any of the other centers, and this really is a fundamental flaw in the approach to the treatment of MDR-TB, because if we give our patients 1 month of medicines, there's no way to follow up on these patients that have defaulted. And often they come back and you ask them as a physician, you ask them, did you take your medicines? And they say yes. And we really don't know if they did take their medicines because no one observed them taking the medicines.
Sometimes it's hard for a family member to do that because they're emotionally attached. If it's your daughter and she's crying because she's sick because she's taking medication, then the father will be like, okay, beti nahi khao. But someone from the community is more strict about that. So these are our eyes and ears and hands in the patient's house.
After the break, we see where these eyes and ears take us.